WCIA 3 News.
A business owner gunned down in cold blood inside his own store. How friends and family remember him as police search for his killer. And adapting on the fly. Schools, hospitals, even the DMV tightening rules on who can get in as COVID-19 continues to spread. And rising to the occasion, a former Illini football player trades in the orange and blue for his NASA blue, where his career and American space travel are headed next.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
Yeah, the heart of gold. You know, he helped anybody out. And I would say, you know, he did a lot for the black community.
A business owner was shot and killed in cold blood inside his own store. Good evening, I'm Mark Maxwell. Decatur grieves tonight as police confirm the name of the man who was shot and killed last night. If you ever shopped there at the Bass, you might have met John Betcher. He was working the drive-through window at his liquor store Saturday night. That's when someone drove up and shot him several times, killing him on scene. His friends remember him as someone with a heart of gold who cared deeply about helping others get on their feet. His family held a candlelight vigil tonight to pay their respects.
Oh, man, John meant so much, you know, to this community, and I know it probably shocked the ones that maybe did this. It's shocking them to see the outpour, you know, because John was loved, you know. He was really loved.
Police are still looking for the shooter. If you know anything, you can call Crime Stoppers to leave an anonymous tip. State health officials say more than 9 million COVID-19 tests have now been processed in Illinois. Lab results show another 10,631 new cases of COVID-19. Coroners reported another 72 COVID deaths. The average number of people testing positive also continues to rise, now reaching an average of 12.8% this week. More than 5,400 people are in Illinois hospitals with COVID-19, and more than 1,000 of them in intensive care. 490 are on a ventilator. The city of Decatur could soon require you to wear a mask in public. The city council will consider a fine of $50 to start, moving up to $500 on a repeat offense. It would apply to businesses and individuals alike. If it passes, a business could face local fines if they don't deny service to someone who's not wearing a mask. City Councilman David Horn says this is long overdue.
It is time for the City Council to take more proactive steps to reduce COVID-19 in our city.
There's one yes vote. The City Council is scheduled to vote on it Monday. Driver services facilities across the state will shut down Tuesday. They will remain closed until December 7th due to a rise in COVID-19. If your driver's license or ID is expired, the due date is extended to June 1st. You can still go online to renew your license plate sticker or a driver's license. Tens of millions of Americans will drive or fly for the Thanksgiving holiday despite the ongoing pandemic. A new travel forecast from AAA's projects up to 50 million people will travel this year. That's down about 10% from 2019. They do expect the overwhelming majority, perhaps 95%, will drive as people opt for last-minute trips or might stay closer to home. The TSA expects to screen more than 6 million people through American airports. Coronavirus concerns are causing hospitals to crack down on visitors. Carle Hospital will no longer allow most visitors inside. They already have 70 patients sick with COVID. That's their highest number yet, putting a strain on staff and available bed space. There are some exceptions for patients under 18 in intensive care or patients who need a support person. They are allowed one visitor. Also exceptions for the pediatric unit and people reaching the end of life. Trustees at Eastern Illinois University have reached a deal with the U of I for COVID-19 testing. It brings the U of I's saliva-based test to EIU's campus. That will start in the spring semester. A trustee there says they're using grant funding to cover the estimated $310,000 cost. As of last week, the university had run more than 3,000 tests since July. Champaign-Urbana's public health department recommended all schools in the county to send students home to learn remotely. But not every school district is taking that advice. Champaign and Rantoul schools are transitioning, but schools like Tolono, Unity, Fisher, St. Joseph Ogden, and Mahomet Seymour will still allow kids in the classroom. But one parent is hoping more schools will listen to what CUPHD is saying.
Ultimately, like this isn't just about the students, right? This is about the faculty and the families and anybody who interacts with any of them.
All of those schools said they will reassess their learning plan when they return from the Thanksgiving break. St. Joseph Ogden Grade School will switch to remote learning after the break. U of I alumni Mike Hopkins is the commander heading up a rocket launch to the International Space Station today. So the university held a viewing party. He's the commander of the Crew Dragon flight on a capsule named Resilience, headed to space. He grew up in the Midwest and will put his farming skills to use. One of his missions focuses on growing vegetables in space. The U of I Engineering School says he always lends a helping hand.
When we've been at Houston to do certain projects at the Johnson Space Center, he's always made it a point to come over and sit down and talk with the students. So Mike's just a real affable guy, and it's good to have him on this flight.
Hopkins served in the Air Force and is now a part of the U.S. Space Force. This milestone SpaceX launched grabbed national attention. It was scrubbed until Sunday because of bad weather Saturday. The flight opens a new era for America's space program, with crews routinely launching to the space station using commercially developed spacecraft. The Illini Athletic Department also tweeted safe travels and well wishes to the alumni and now astronaut Mike Hopkins. He's the commander of that SpaceX Crew Dragon's first operational mission.
It's the start of kind of a new era in terms of how we're going to ferry crews up and down to the International Space Station.
That trip, it's a long one. They're going to buckle up to take 27 hours to dock aboard the International Space Station upon their arrival. That mission there could last 6 months. SpaceX hopes to recover the ship when it lands on the return on a pad in the Atlantic Ocean. Now turning over from a story in the skies to Amelia, who's had her eyes on the skies. What's coming up?
That's right, Mark. Well, we've been seeing a little bit of a breezy day, right? It felt kind of like a wind tunnel as you went outside. That's only going to continue as we head towards this next work week, but plenty of sunshine and also some warmer temperatures. We'll have those details right after this.
WCIA 3 News is sponsored by SK Exteriors. You're watching WCIA 3, your local news leader.